Pat, do you think that Australians are a little relieved leading into this test match because the pressure is on India to do all the running, because if they want to square the series, now you guys will be fine with it, even a draw is sufficient for you to win the series?
I mean, it's always the preferred position, but you go into every test match trying to win, so it's no doubt no different this week. But again, really happy with the last 3 test matches, how the boys have played. We've shown that I mean, for most of it, we've kind of been the front runner, and that's kind of the aim again this week is keep it up. Yeah, it's a tough one to know exactly. It's a little bit different to kind of the traditional SCG. I think 2 Shield wickets this year seemed like they played really well. Teams were really happy with the cricket wicket. Felt like there was a bit on offer for the batters, for the bowlers, but also runs to be scored. So looks pretty good. No doubt there'll be some stages where it's pretty good batting, but potentially break up and spin towards the end. Kind of, you never really know. Weather plays a little bit of a part sometimes here as well. So I've played a few test matches here, but outside of that, 1 days and stuff. So I'm no expert. First of all, no, you're going thinking only about the win. Obviously, if the wicket or the weather or anything takes you in a different direction, then maybe, but that's really, it's day 4, day 5 before you even consider anything like that. Beau, I haven't had a lot to do with Beau leading to this series. He joined the squad, I think it was after the first test. He's just been one of those star performers for Tasmania with a bat or bowl or in the field. He always seems to have a big impact. Quite aggressive, can change the game, like we've seen, Mitch Marsh or Trav Head or Alex Carey do in that middle order. He's been great personality around the squad. Even day 5 there in Melbourne, he's itching to get on the field. It's going to be awesome to see him debut. Really love what he's brought to the squad so far. Change Marshy misses out and Beau Webster's debuting.
Just talk us through that process.
Beau's been in the squad for a few tests now. Mitchie obviously hasn't quite got the runs or perhaps wickets that he would have liked this series. So felt like it was time for a freshen up. And Beau's been with the squad. He's been great. So it's a shame for Mitchie because we know how much he brings to the team. But I feel like now's a good week for Beau to get a chance. He totally understanding. I think his words were, not necessarily blindsided. He knows he hasn't scored the runs or wickets that he would have liked, so that makes you vulnerable. Really excited for Beau. That's his first thing he said. I can't wait to see Beau go out there and give it a crack. I think particularly here in Australia, I think when a batter misses out or gets dropped, it's always seen as a big thing, but it's not the case. The way that Ronnie and the selectors and myself look at it is we love pulling, a squad of players together who we think we can call on at different times. And, we thought the time was right for Mitchie to have a freshen up and miss this one, but it doesn't mean that, he won't be back in that team at some point. Yeah, that was definitely a factor. Short turnaround. I think it's always nice to have kind of a fifth bowler that, perhaps he bowls quite a lot for Tasmania. So if we need to call on that, we can. I think, firstly, if you're going to bat 6, you pick for your batting, which I think he's shown in Shield over the last couple of years when he takes the game on, and he's really changed some games for Tasmania. But I'll sit down and work that out today. But I think particularly that pace bowling's always going to be handy, and we've got obviously Nath, but also Trav with some handy offies when needed. Not necessarily. We've spoken about it a lot. He was in the side this summer for being a top 6 batter. So that's generally a guiding principle when you pick in the top order, not always. I think when he's at his best, he gets in the side on his batting alone, and his bowling's a bonus. Obviously, you've got guys like Cam Green who will be back in the mix at some point as well, who provide some other bowling options. So, no, not necessarily. I think this venue can be a little bit different, but I think traditionally you turn up, you bat, no matter what. I think you're seeing more and more teams happy to bowl if they see a bit of grass on day 1. You're not as worried about the back end day 4 or 5 because a lot of the games are happening a bit quicker. So a lot of the time you're turning up and wondering if you're going to take 10 wickets on that day, and if you think you are, you kind of play what's in front of you. yeah, I think it's a little bit different to what it has been, you know, even me growing up. But you still get test matches like last week, which are, you know, go the full 5 days and kind of that more traditional slow burn, which I think is just as enjoyable. I mean, last game it helped that I was at the non-strikers end. that certainly helped. Oh, look, you know, there's no doubt he's bowling well at the moment. He's always tough. Yeah, hopefully by the time I come in, he's well into his, you know, late in the day, and he's bowled a fair bit, which makes it a little bit easier for me. But you know, he's bowled well, so I've faced him quite a bit across the world in different formats, and yeah, but always poses a challenge.
In the field, does it felt like they've had more than one hook?
Don't know. It's probably not for me to kind of judge on. I'm in my own little bubble, so I haven't noticed anything different from watching on TV or being out in the middle, really.
You know, how have you seen him sort of evolve from when you were a young player to now?
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, personality-wise, just his resilience. He's bowled 145 kilometres for 15 years now, it seems like, and a lot of overs. And you just don't do that without always dealing with different niggles or setbacks. And he just grits his teeth and gets on with it. He's the one player who just refuses ever to talk about being rested or rotated. You know, he just wants to go out there and play for Australia, even if, you know, he's had some quiet games in the past and people are out to get him or whatever. He's still just he just wants to turn up and play. So I just have huge admiration for him from that point of view. As a bowler, you know, I think he's adapted a lot. You know, particularly in the last, say, 5 years, he's now got a wobble seam. He uses his bounces quite well. It's not just that get it full, try and swing and hit a front pad. He's got a lot of different strengths. He comes around the wicket to right-handers. So I think he's just really proactive. He knows his skill sets really well, and he's an absolute dream as a captain because